Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Getty Live Talks as a part of hashtag Disruptive Education Movement. A forum is an initiative by Global Education and Training Institute, or Getty, under Dr. Sunita Gandhi, with the sole vision to transform education by sharing wonderful ideas for change. And we at Getty are committed to teachers' training and professional development to facilitate learning, teaching, and sharing wonderful ideas and next practices with the world. Well, you all know so far we have conducted more than 1,000 sessions on this platform, this unique global movement that is the hashtag Disruptive Education Movement, under which we bring education leaders from around the globe to deliberate and discuss. And so we have with us Ms. Teresa today, who is the founder director of Thinkers Hub Preschool and Thinkers Hub Nursery Teacher Training Institute. Well, Ms. Teresa is an artist by profession, an educator by passion, and a counselor by design. She's also an NLP master practitioner, art therapist, and has over 2 decades of experience in teaching almost all grade levels in various subjects. Well, she has also worked in IB school as a head for early primary for over a decade, and she is a lifetime member of early childhood education in India. Well, she was also awarded by the Asian Education Award as one of the contributor to education community in 2020 and the Savitribai Phule Award in 2021 for her philanthropic work. Well, Miss Teresa's life motto is Ignite Little Minds through value-based education and believes our country's rich heritage, culture, and traditions are tools for developing the same. And today she is with us to talk on the topic that is home, the learning tool for toddlers. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, on this forum of Getty Live Talks. And without much ado, I would request you to please share your thoughts. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Preena, for your kind words. Thank you for the introduction. On the outset, I would like to first thank Dr. Sunita Gandhi for inviting me here today to express my opinion and my experiences. Thank you, Team Getty, for doing all the needful. Thank you once again. So kindly allow me to first share my screen. Preena, is the screen seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me begin. Thanks to COVID, most of the parents, especially the preschool parents, have become proxy teachers because of the COVID and homeschooling going on. But sadly, this is leading to anxiety as they're not sure if the right learning is happening. So today I'm here to share with you a few experiences of how to go about learning at home, to use home as a tool for learning. First and foremost, we need to understand is we need to help our children to cope up with the natural disasters, especially what's happening in today's world. We need to understand that the child's world is completely different and it takes time to understand what is happening around. And hence, it's important that. One second, my screen is okay. So it's very important that we give accurate and age appropriate information to our children. Also, we need to be available to them at all times. We need to identify safe ways to express emotions. We need to maintain constant routines. We need to assure our children that we are together at all times. And we need to be sensitive and aware to the physical or emotional changes they are having. And with that, let's go forward to know what, why, and how of learning at home. What do children generally learn at this age as toddlers? They learn the alphabet, the letters in the alphabet. the words and sentences. They learn the numbers. There is thematic learning which is happening, and that is also called as EVS or GK. Why do they learn this? Why do they have to learn all these things? They have to learn all these things to develop all the different skills. And how do they learn? They learn it through concepts, arts, rhymes, stories, and playway method. What is this? I'm sure you all must have seen the construction of a house, isn't it? Well, if you have truly noticed, you will agree with me that a large quality time is used to build the foundation of a house. Lots of money, lots of time and energy is invested into building the foundation of a house. And only then the house is ready for taking the load of the walls and windows and the floors, whatever you want to make. Likewise, the first 7 years of a child is the fundamental stage of building the foundation of kids' education. You need to ensure that they remain healthy, grow into a better community with lots of love, socio-emotional and physical safety. Only and only then the child is ready to face the life and become a lifelong learner. So how do we do that at home? That must be the question which is always troubling you. Well, it's simple. We could do it through STEM learning. Now, what is STEM learning? S is for science and social studies. T for technology. E for English or engineering. M for mathematics. Integrate all of this into arts. Now, what is arts? Is arts just about drawing and painting? Arts is beyond that. It's singing, dancing, drama, music, storytelling, sculpturing, cooking, reading, writing, creating, loving and caring, and much more than that. So all of this we need to integrate into the child's learning, and only then the child is ready to learn. Why rhymes and stories? Well, rhymes and stories are very important in early education because it develops their language. When the child sings and speaks, it's developing its vocabulary, it's learning new vocabulary. Also, they can connect easily. They develop curiosity. It gives them a message, and they hear and see rhymes, rhyme patterns, rhyming words, and rhythm in it. And most important is, it is one step towards learning to read and write. Coming to games, I don't have to elaborate much into what games are. You know how important they are. So just to keep it short, games enhances different skills, various skills. It provides ability to think calmly, rationally, and develops leadership skills. It also reduces obesity, keeps the child healthy. It channelizes the child's energy, and children enjoy and learn better. Now, you may ask me, what about now, these days when there is lockdown or when the children are not going to school? How are our children going to enjoy games? Well, the answer is simple. Do you remember in your childhood when you went to your grandma's house? Your grandmother never took you to an outside ground. In that small room, she used to play various games with you. And those various games developed so many skills in you. Just remember those old age games. Talk to your parents about them. Take tips from them. And play those games for time being. Very soon, this too will pass. And your child will be on the ground back again. But until then, play all the games what you played with your grandparents. Play-Doh is very, very important learning tool for your child. And when I say Play-Doh, you don't have to buy those fancy doughs from the market. You could use simple clay, earthen clay, or you could even use your atta, your flour, what you make chapatis and puris. That's the best thing what you can give to your children. And whatever your child learns, ask them to display it through making something. Whenever your child is learning something, allow your child to experience and to experiment with dog and tell you what it has learned. It develops the social and language skill. The child will explain to you what it has made. It develops critical thinking in your child because it's thinking and doing and redoing. There are fine motors involved. And there is scientific thinking when the child is pulling or pressing or pinching, doing the small intricate things. Your child is developing scientific learning as well. So include the play the in your teaching in whatever you do. Later, the same dough could be baked in the oven, or you could fry it like puris and have it along with your child, or just make simple chapatis and have it with sabzi. So your child is learning as well as you both are enjoying the fruit of it. Reasoning is very important while you do anything. Anything and everything you teach to your child. Your child should know, why am I doing it? If the child doesn't understand why, then it's a punishment to the child. If a child has to learn the letters from the alphabet, it should know, why should I learn this A? Why should I learn B? When the child understands that when we join certain letters together, it forms a word. And those words, when we join it together, it helps us to make a sentence. And those sentences, if I can read tomorrow, I can read my own storybook. I don't require my mom to read it out for me. And that's why learning ABCD is important to me. So when the child understands this, when you reason out to the child happily learns whatever you are teaching. Likewise, the numbers also, in coming slides, I will be extensively discussing on that. Also, reasoning helps in decision making. It is the ability to analyze different aspects. It makes them think rationally. It helps them make efficient and effective decisions. And it makes their learning easy. So anything and everything you're teaching to your child, reason it out. Why? And anything they learn has to be interesting. You have to make it interesting. Otherwise, the child is not going to learn. It has to be relevant to their age, relevant to the learning. It has to be challenging enough. The same old techniques, if you're going to use, your child is going to feel bored and then learning will stop there. It has to be engaging. The five senses have to be ignited at all times. And then it has to be rewarding. Anything the child learns, it has to be rewarding. Now, let me give you an example of the letter A. Generally, when we teach the letter A to our child, we might show a chart or a book with pictures in it. Or maybe we could just show an apple or a few things which a child is going to see and remember. Our children, they have very fast grasping power. So the minute you're going to show the chart, your child is going to remember every picture from this chart. But then, within few days, your child tends to forget it. And then you wonder, oh God, my child on that day had explained to me each and every word. And today he's not remembering all the words. He's just remembering 2 or 3 words. What happened to my child? It's because you had missed out on either of these things. You had not ignited their senses. So just imagine, now you take your child out of the house or maybe to the nearest park and show them an ant hill. When the child is sitting and observing an ant hill, observing the little ants going in, coming out, walking in a line, when a child sees all of this, what's happening? The child is developing observation skills. It's experiencing through its senses. And do you think your child is ever going to forget A for anthill and A for ant? When the siren of the ambulance is heard on the road, and if you give way to this ambulance and then explain to your child why is it important to allow the ambulance to go ahead of you, do you think your child is ever going to forget A for ambulance? Your child needs to understand why an ambulance is used. How does it help us? What are the contact numbers? So learning becomes more valuable. When you Show a child an apple. Don't just show an apple like this and say this is A for apple. Instead of that, make your child feel the apple. Let your child touch the outer covering of the apple and tell what is the texture. It's smooth from outside. It's red or green from outside. It has got a thin layer of red or green. And then you cut the apple. What's inside? The color is changed. You have to bring that sensitivity in that. Oh, it's white in color now. Let us touch and see how the feel is. Inside, it's rough, it's hard, and then it has got seeds. And what happens if you keep that cut apple for a longer period? The white turns into yellowish. So when your child is observing these changes, observing this texture and other things, touching and feeling and smelling, it will never forget A for apple. Not only that, you also need to bring in a little bit of art and craft while you teach them anything. Sing different rhymes and stories. On the internet, there are ample of rhymes available. There are so many stories for each letter. Even you can go on my YouTube channel. I have a story and a rhyme for every letter in the alphabet. You could visit that. You could have some drama, like for instance, astronaut. You could all be an astronaut for the day and find out things, how a space looks like. Have it in the form of drama. You could have it through playway, through dove. So use different techniques to teach each letter, each word. And then you see how learning becomes a lifelong learning. And just not this, but also teach your child what adorable means. Show them the kittens, show them the small puppies, or just dig your old album and show the pic of their own as a baby. How cute and adorable they looked as a baby. Show your own photographs to them, how adorable you looked as a baby. Let your child see that, let your child feel it, and let your child appreciate it. So A for appreciation is equally important for your child to learn. Generally, we appreciate our children, but then seldom we teach them to appreciate. So teach them to appreciate, not always to be appreciated. A for anger. We usually tell our children not to be angry, but then while telling so, we ourselves are angry. Does it really make sense? Anger is an emotion. It's a natural phenomena which just comes automatically. So instead of saying, don't be angry, teach your child it's okay to feel angry. But then we should know how to handle the anger. We should know how to respond to the anger. That's more important. So A for anger is equally important to teach your child. Teach your child about A for adaptability. Again, thanks to COVID, we are adapting to so many new things. And our little ones, when they used to come to school, in the school, we used to ensure that every 15 to 20 minutes, we change an activity because we know the attention span of our little ones is too less. They need change after every 15 to 20 minutes. And we used to ensure that. But today, because of online learning, it's not possible. I see many schools having online classes for toddlers, which continues for 30 to 40 minutes at the stretch. A child who cannot sit for 15 minutes in one place today is forced to sit for 30 to 40 minutes in one place in front of the system. So what is your child doing? It's adapting to change. Teach your child what adaptation means, how we adapt to different scenarios in life. And why is it important? Reasoning. Likewise, the other letters in the alphabet, B for brave, not just ball and bat. B for breeze, B for breathing. Teach them that. Teach them C for caring. Also let them know D for dominating. At times, by default, knowingly, unknowingly, our children get dominated or they dominate others. Tell them why is it not good to dominate or to be dominated by others. Teach them E for emotions. Teach them F for feelings. Let them know G for gratitude. H for hurt, it pains. And hurt is not just a physical pain. Anytime we say something wrong to others, that is also hurting people and it pains. These are a few skills which our children need to learn from home. Moving forward, I have a few activities from A to Z for you. A for, you can make an origami of the aeroplane. So what is your child developing by making that? Your child is developing the fine motor skill, gross motor skills, the psychomotor skills. Your child is using its fingers to press and make that aeroplane, and then to blow the air and then throw the aeroplane. So it's developing the psychomotor skills. Likewise, B for, teach your child to make simple banana shake. That's the simplest thing your child can learn in the kitchen. And you could do it through rhymes. You could just sing the song. Peel a banana, peel a banana, peel a banana, peel. Peel a banana, peel a banana, peel a banana, peel. Chop the banana, chop the banana, chop the banana, chop. Then smash the banana, grind the banana, grind the banana, pour the banana, pour the banana, drink the banana, drink the... So what are you doing? Along with singing rhymes, you are developing your child's vocabulary. Your child is learning new vocabulary like peeling off the banana, chopping or cutting, smashing, grinding, drinking. So all these action verbs your child did not learn as a separate concept. It will happen by default through rhymes and stories. And plus, you're preparing the banana shake. And while you're singing and doing it, your child will remember B for banana and also remember how to make banana shake, so that next time you have guests at home, your child could independently prepare banana shake and offer it to them. Likewise, we know the old rhyme, right? Bits of paper. You could even change that bits of paper when your child spreads the toys here and there. So instead of saying bits of paper, you could say big and small toys, big and small toys lying around. Makes a place untidy, pick them up, and you and your child together start cleaning up. And that is how your child is going to develop the self-management skills. C for compassionate break. Now, this is very, very important for a child. Now, imagine when your child goes out for playing and he comes back a little late, maybe half an hour late. So what, as a parent, what is our instant reaction to that? Oh, Rohan, you're already late by half an hour. You had so much of work to do. Come on, get in the bathroom, wash yourself and come back fast. You need to sit for studies. Instead of saying that, now imagine your child had gone outside and he was all happy with dopamine and your child was all happy playing with his friends. He enters the house and there is a contrast which is happening and you're shouting there. A child has to balance between these two emotions. It's so difficult for them. So how about being a little compassionate to them and saying, Rohan, I think you played for half an hour more. Are your legs paining? Okay, I have made the water hot. Just keep your legs in the bucket for 5-10 minutes. You'll feel better. And then you come back and study. What is your child going to understand by this? Your child is going to feel that my mama understands me. She understands my pain. My legs are paining. So she has made some water hot for me. Likewise, while writing, generally children say, Mama, my fingers are paining. It's like, what is this? You have just written 2 sentences and your fingers are paining? Instead of saying that, how about just taking a 2-minute compassionate break and saying, oh, your fingers are paining. Okay, show me your fingers. And you just take your child's finger and just press it a little for 2 minutes. It's just going to take hardly 2 minutes to press their fingers. And your child is going to feel wanted. So this is how you're giving a compassionate break to your child. And your child is going to learn all these things from you. So when you look tired, I can bet you that your child is going to come to you and say, Mama, you look tired. Should I press your legs? So you need to lead by example. Likewise, D for Detective Dragon. Now, what is Detective Dragon? Detective Dragon is nothing but just knowing oneself, knowing why the things are happening inside me. So it's more of being self-aware. You are scanning your body. Why do I feel angry? Why do I feel happy? When is the time I feel happy? What makes me feel sad? What makes me feel anxious? So help your child understand those things. And when your child understands what makes me sad or what makes me happy or what makes me feel anxious, it can help him or her to cope up with those emotions. So it's very important to develop the habit of becoming a detective dragon. So know yourself, scan your body, scan your emotions. Next is E for engineering day. You remember in the STEM learning, you have to bring different aspects. So just have an engineer. And why I'm saying engineering day? Because engineering is one area where you have different aspects. There is a civil engineer, there is engineers who build bridges, there are engineers who build buildings, there are engineers who dig the coal, and there are engineers who bring gold and diamond to us. Your child should know all of this. You could have a playway method of doing all those things. Maybe you could dig the coal, have a have something made in a box and your child is digging coal, or just have some iron nails, wrap it up in golden paper and put it in a box where you have lot of mud, and then ask your child to dig those gold with the help of a magnet. So the magnet is pulling the iron, so that's the gold which is coming out. So you could use various techniques to teach them what engineers are and how they work. Also, teach your child about what farmer is, what farming is. If possible, take your child once in a while to show them the farm, to show them what harvesting is, to show them how things from the farm are got into the market, are got into the factory to be processed. And that's how then later it comes to our home. So it's very important for a child to understand all this aspect from farm to factory to our plate. Teach them that, and you see how eagerly your child will learn. G for go, grow, and glow. Just sow some seeds. If you don't have a lawn or if you don't have a garden area, just take a small tray, put some mud in that, and sow some methi seeds or coriander seeds. And let the child observe the cracking of those seeds, those small seedlings coming, those small seedlings turning into a sapling and growing into a plant, and then you harvest it and put it in your vegetables. How happy your child is going to be, and it's going to observe the changes that's happening. Likewise, have a gratitude jar. Gratitude jar is nothing but just keep any box in your drawing room. And all of you as a family, whenever somebody does something good to you, just write that person's name on a piece of paper and how that person has helped if possible, and put it in the jar. Every month end, you as a family sit together and open each chit and thank that person for helping you. You could give a call, or you could just, if that person is available in the house, just hug that person and say thank you. So what are you developing in your child? You're developing the socio emotional skills in your child. H for honesty day. To err is human. We all make mistakes, and it's very important to teach our children that even we as older people, we commit mistakes. Generally, we are very wise. We don't want to show children that we commit mistakes. We only want to tell them, do this and don't do that. And that's why they commit more mistakes. But instead, if you could give them examples, you know what? Last time I was tempted to do this, or I actually did this, but then I realized that it was wrong. And this is how I accepted it. When you tell your stories to your children that how you were tempted, but again you followed the path of honesty, that is what your child is going to learn from you. That's okay to make mistakes. But at the end of the day, I need to be honest, is what a child needs to learn. Hugging day. Generally, we nowadays we tell our children whom to hug and whom not to hug. But even that whom to hug, a child needs to know what is a good hug and what is a not so good hug. Don't blindly believe in your relationship, in your relatives. Be it father, mother, brother, sister, uncle, grandparents, anybody. Your child should know what is a healthy hugging and what is a not so healthy hugging. It's very important to teach your child. I for inhale and exhale. Teach your child to let go of few things. Few things are not into our hands. Teach your child to inhale all the good things, to inhale all the positive energy of Mother Earth, and to exhale all the toxic, all the negative things from their mind. Make it a regular exercise for your child. Early morning when the child wakes up, wake him up and ask him to inhale all the goodness of life. Show him that, you know what, we are going to be very strong. Have affirmations while they're inhaling, that I am a good child, that I know what is right, and exhale all the worries, all the anxieties. It helps a child to grow into a better human being. And it also develops their analytical thinking. J for joyful or jumping day. Just have a day where 1 hour you all decide that I'm going to be a frog. What about you? Oh, I want to be a rabbit today. The third one say, okay, I'm going to be a monkey today. So for next 1 hour, you are just going to jump like the animal. So what are you doing? You are communicating with each other that this is how a monkey expresses itself. This is how a rabbit expresses itself. So these are another few ways of teaching your child about communication skills without talking. K for kindness day. Now, when I say kindness, kindness is not only about doing good things. At times, kindness is also about not doing certain things. For example, like me and my family, we love having pets. But then it's not important that every parent would love to have pets at home. So it's okay, absolutely okay. But then you have stray dogs, stray cats in your street, right? Now, here also, I don't insist that you start feeding them or pampering them. Each one has got their own reasoning for doing or not doing so. All appreciated. But then, the least what we can do is, can we sit at the window and watch those animals playing outside? Can we watch those puppies and kittens playing with each other? Can we watch the way they are growing? Can we as a family watch the way they are struggling to live and let live? Can we hear the chirping of the birds? So, what are we doing? We are being kind. We are teaching a child not to hurt them. No matter we can't take care of them, but at least we are ensuring that we are not unnecessarily plucking the plants. We are not unnecessarily hurting the animals. So that is kindness. Kindness is not always doing good. At times, kindness is also not doing certain things. A child needs to understand that aspect. Coming to laughter or just have a lousy day, no harm. Every time you don't have to be in action. Another very, very, very important thing is mindful eating, which many children miss a lot these days. They sit in front of the TV and they do not know what they are eating. My dear parents, I urge you all at least one meal, have it together and have it mindfully. Now, what do we mean by mindful eating? Teach your child that God has given us 32 teeth to chew it, to chew the food, to extract the juice. Let your child taste each juice that is there in the mouth. While eating the carrot, tuck, let your child feel that sound, that crunchiness of the carrot, that crunchiness of the papad, karam, karam, karam. Let your child feel, hear, taste. Let the child feel the melting of the ice cream. Let the tears drop out when the food is little hot or spicy or pungent. Have mindful eating. Let your child know what it is eating. Let it feel the texture, the taste, the shape, the size of the food it is eating. And for naughty time, or just have a nature walk. Walk into the nature and observe things. How beautifully God has created everything. Or for object focus day. One day you could just have on focusing. Today, 1 hour, we are going to focus on something. It could be anything. It could be the plants around you. Just observe the different plants, the leaves, different colors of the leaves, the shape, size. You could watch the moving clouds, the different designs in the clouds, and draw those designs on the paper. Imagine a story with those clouds. So this is object focused day. So you're going to focus on certain thing and work on it, and then show your learning through art, craft, anything, storytelling, anything. The next one is P for pretend play day. This is another very, very important aspect of learning. I again urge all the parents to have at least one pretend play day every month. Just exchange your roles for an hour. I become Neha today. Neha becomes daddy. Daddy becomes uncle. Uncle becomes mummy. Mummy becomes grandma. And then you all are playing each other's character. Now, what are we going to gain with this? You will not believe your child will display all the emotions. Generally, we as adults, we feel that, oh, I behave with my child like this, so that is how my child is thinking about me. But you'll be surprised in the pretend play what actually your child is assuming you to be, how the child is perceiving you as a parent or as uncle, auntie, or grandparents. And it's very important for us to understand what's going on in the mind of our child. So pretend play helps the child to show their emotions. And that's why I urge to have it at least once in a month, have different roles. Q for quick catch up day. This is also very important for our children to understand that in this busy schedule of ours, at times we need to find out a little time to say hi, hello to the friends who are staying far away, to our relatives who are staying far away. This is going to develop their social skills. R for reading or just relaxing day. S for senses exploration day. You could spend one full day to explore the different senses. What is that? I can see but not touch, taste, feel, or hear the sky. What is that? I can eat, feel, but can't hear a gulab jamun. So, explore the different things. Make your child walk on different textures. So, what are you doing? You are igniting their senses. Also, you could have a talent day at home. The next is U for undivided attention day. Focus on something. You don't have, today I'm going to do gardening. So we all are going to do gardening. So somebody is digging, somebody is sowing, the other is watering. So undivided attention. Today we are going to pay attention to only gardening. Or today we are going to do cooking. So all of us together in the kitchen. So each one helping each other to make something nice into the kitchen. So that is undivided attention day. V for volunteer or valuable day. Now, what is volunteer day? You could just walk into the nearest old age home or the orphanage home and spend a day. Maybe you could just chop some vegetables for them and come back. You don't have to always carry food for them. You could just go chop vegetables and come back, or just go spend some time talking to them, asking how are they, and come back. It's going to add a lot of value in their life and your life as well. And your child is going to learn that from you. W for wandering and wondering day. It develops a lot of research skills, because your child will start wondering, why is it like this? Why is it not like that? How could it be like this or that? It's very important to ask questions. Only when the child is an inquirer, he learns better. X for Xenial. Make your child a host and let him host a few guests. That is going to develop his socio-emotional skills. Yahoo Day. Just a day of excitement. Just a happy day. And last but not the least, Zenith Day. What is Zenith? Zenith is top of the world. And when we say top of the world, it's not always climbing and Mount Everest. No, top of the world could be anything that I try to do something and I'm successful in it. Maybe today I cook something very special. That is the zenith for me, because I have tried something going out of my comfort zone. Or today I have planned to draw something which is very difficult, and I draw it, whether it's complete success or not, but then I attempted it. That is also zenith. So feeling out of the world, feeling really good about oneself. So you could have Zenith Day also. Now, when you do all these activities, do you think you still need to do all these concepts as a separate activity for your children? Do you think doing opposites or one and many, this and that, are you not going to cover all of these concepts into all those activities I told you? And there's so many activities. I just shared with you one activity per letter. If you browse on the internet, you'll have ample of them. And all of those activities by default will teach your child all these concepts. So you don't have to teach concepts as a separate thing for your child while you're giving them good values. Now, and why a child should learn. Basically, what do the child learns? Coming to first one is what? It learns counting, bundling, estimation, addition, subtraction. Why? Reasoning, because it helps in shopping, laundry time, traveling. Maybe you could take your child to shopping and show how numbers are important while paying or buying things. When the laundryman comes, it's important for the child to understand that you're counting and giving the clothes. While you're traveling, you're showing the tickets to the child. And when it comes to home, in your kitchen, your vegetable, fruits, utensils, all of this could be adding knowledge to the number. Count the number of vegetables or fruits you buy, or you buy 250 grams of okra. Now, all of you estimated how many okras must be there in 250 grams. So I say maybe 4, Papa says 5, your child says 8, and then your child counts it. And then he understands, okay, in 250-gram okra, we get so many okras. Look at the utensils, big, small, pour some water. How many glasses of water goes into this vessel? And how many glasses of water goes into that utensil? People in the house, ask your child to go and ask everyone how many rotis they're going to have for the dinner. So your child goes to grandpa and says, Grandpa, how many rotis are you going to have? Grandpa says 3, Mama says 1, sister says 3. Your child is going to count. So what's happening? Addition. And your child adds all of those and tells Mama to make 10 rotis or 12 rotis. And after dinner, the child again counts how many are remaining. So what's happening? Subtraction. So by default, your child is learning numbers. While cooking and baking, those are the best things to learn numbers. For everything, measurement is required. So bring your child into the kitchen to teach the numbers. Now coming to the bedroom, your wardrobes, your curtains, your doors, windows, bed sheets, everything has got numbers. Count the number of clothes. Look at the different colors in your wardrobe. Look at the long, look at the short top. Look at the windows. You could measure the door with your hand span or the wall with your leg span. So all these things you can bring into your bedroom. Coming to your drawing room. In your drawing room, you have shapes, patterns, dimensions, geometry, and stationery. So many stationery you have in your drawing room, which can help your child learn numbers. Even the little changes what you make. You want to keep your sofa from here to that corner. You're going to tilt the sofa. So what are you doing? You're looking at the dimensions. You're looking at the geometry. I'll tilt 20 degrees, how it looks. Okay, I'm going to tilt a little more. So by default, your child is learning geometry while he's arranging the whole room. So use your house to teach them numbers. Now coming to the thematic learning. What do generally children learn? The first thing what every school teaches them is all about myself. Here again, I urge you parents, when a child is learning about all about me, it's very important for the child to learn it in their own mother tongue. By default, your child is going to learn the names of the body parts in English in grade 1 and 2. There is no hurry, but your child should know every body part or the names of their uncles and aunties, how you call them, in your mother tongue. So use mother tongue exclusively while you're doing the thematic learning, especially about myself. Now, habits. Habit should not be taken as a thematic experience. Habit is something which a child learns through doing so many things. And most of the habits come from us older people by observing us. So why take it as a separate things? Why do's and don'ts? Not required. When you're doing those activities, alphabetical orders, what I showed you, those itself will create certain habits in your child. It will help you or your child organize itself in a proper fashion. Also, when you teach your child about people, teach them to respect the human commonalities, likes and dislikes, similarities and differences. That's more important. When you teach your child about food and health, rather than teaching your child names of 5 fruits and 10 vegetables and 5 flowers, by default your child is going to learn all of that in grade 1, 2, 3. He cannot escape, he will learn. And thanks to our Indian languages, no matter what language you speak in the house, English, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Tulu, whatever you speak, our every sentence has got at least 2 English words in that. So what big deal in teaching a child again all those things as a separate thematic learning? Instead, teach your child about healthy choices. Teach your child about hygiene, keeping your surroundings clean. Help your child how exercise is important. Teach your child about yoga, about other exercises. That's more important when you talk about food and health to your child, not just the names of food items, not just healthy and unhealthy. There's nothing unhealthy. Okay, we have to teach them to make healthy choices. How much is good and how much is not good? That's important. Coming to seasons, instead of just teaching them the names of the seasons, because these days you see seasons are not behaving themselves. You have 24/7 different seasons you are experiencing throughout the day. So it doesn't make sense now teaching seasons to our children. Instead, teach them what seasons bring. Teach them about weeks, months. Teach them what clothes we wear in which season. Teach them about festivals, how seasons bring festivals. And our country, we are so blessed with having different celebrations, different festivals. And each festival of ours, be it Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, any festival you name it, has got some scientific reason for celebration. Talk to your child about those scientific reasons. Why is the harvest festival celebrated in Jan? Why do we celebrate so and so festival at that time? What is the scientific significance, not just the religious significance? And when your child understands that, your child will start respecting, and the festival is really celebrated in true sense. When you teach about nature, teach your child to appreciate the aesthetic sense of nature. Teach your child about water. Talk to them about the color, the taste, shape, the size of water. Do different exercises at home and top it up with saving of water, which is very important. Talk to your children about living and non-living things, but along with that, talk to them about preserving our natural resources. Talk to them about our different natural resources, with what we are blessed with. Talk to them about the interdependence, how we are dependent on plants and animals and how they are dependent on us. Why we need to take care of each other. What do we give each other? What will happen if we don't take care of them or they don't take care of us? That is very important for them to learn. Not just the names of trees and names of animals and domestic animals. No, tell them how they help us. What is the reason of we having wild animals? All those things are very, very important for a child to understand. When we talk about community helpers, it's not just about knowing the names of community helpers. It's equally important for a child to understand and respect the community helpers. Again, here, how we are dependent on each other, how the doctor is dependent on us, and how we are dependent on the doctor is important for a child to understand and respect. Even a cobbler, how important he is. Because of him, we can save some money. Instead of buying a new shoe, I can repair my shoe. And that's why I need to respect the cobbler. Now, coming to TV time, this is one thing which troubles most of the parents. I can understand your pain. But I want to ask you one small question. Who has got the TV at home? Is it your child or you? Who can operate the remote properly, you or your child? Who pays for those channels, you or your child? So, who should be having the control of the remote, you or your child? Ask this question to yourself. If you can't control a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old at this age, then I'm sorry. I wonder how you will control them when they grow up into teens. It's going to be really difficult. So have the control in your hands. And to add to that, cartoons are not bad. Sit with them and watch a few cartoons with them and look at the best parts of the cartoons. Talk to them how cartoons are when they are watching Krish. Talk to them about how Krish is courageous. Talk to them about the caring Chota Bheem. Talk to them about the Ninja Boys, how principled they are. Talk to them about Mighty Raju, how balanced he is. Talk to them about that little Dora who keeps going around the world inquiring why, what, when, and help them to be like them, to inculcate those attributes what their heroes have. Let them also have those attributes in them. So there's no harm in your child watching cartoons as far as you are helping them to add value to that cartoon. And of course, mind the time and the screen time as well. Last but not the least, before you speak, think. Teach your child to think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it actually necessary for me to speak now? And is it kind? I hope I'm not hurting somebody. With this note, I end my session today. Thank you so much. If you want to know about more activities, you could hop into my YouTube channel and go in for more activities. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's wonderful. The whole new series of ABC, not just Apple will be for ball, but a lot more for the kids. I think you have very interestingly explained about how we can actually utilize this time at home. It is often said that home is the first school and parents are the first teachers. And there is a reason why they call home as the child's first school. Parenting on a broader picture concerns um, not only with the right set of skills for the upbringing of the child, but it's much more than that, where you are teaching them, you're spending a lot of time with them, and teaching them much more about the culture, about the tradition, the holistic development, and the pointers you just explained. I think they were wonderful. And I think if we talk about little ones, the brain of the child is so blank in the starting years. And the child, what he sees is what he understands. That's what he grasps. So parents do play a very big responsibility in the formation of the child's character, where you can teach them about good habits, about, as I said, culture and tradition. It is important. He can tell them about the value of life, and so many other activities that you mentioned. Play-doh idea, where you are engaging them, involving them in the household stuff, household chores. Yes, and reasoning is important. They should know why they are learning this. What is the purpose for making them understand? We need to make things interesting, um, challenging, of course, because we need to keep them engaged. They get bored very easily. I think parents are the best teachers for child. They do kind of form them. And as you said, learning is not only about the alphabets, about the numbers. I think it's much more than that. Like you explained, the number part. Why are we teaching them numbers? Whether it's not only 1, 2, 3, but maybe you can ask questions related to the utensils in the kitchen, counting them, the fruits, the vegetables, very basic things, available around in the home. in their homes. I think that was fantastic. And I don't see any questions, but people have thoroughly enjoyed your session, as you can see the comment section. Indeed, it was a wonderful session. I
Thank you,
think
Prima.
thanks to you, ma'am, actually, for joining us today. And we all have understood for a child, school is an introduction to a world outside the family unit, and parents, they need to prepare them for it, teaching them at home, making the new generation a good and a great one. That's what we are aiming. So I think the points that you shared, I think, were amazing. Something beyond ABC, just A for apple and B for ball. You can teach them so much more, and so much for the educators to take away from this presentation today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank you.
joining us
Let's
today.
lead by example. Let's all lead by example.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So, yes,
Thank you.
thank you so much. And thank you, viewers, for joining in. You can definitely share this presentation with your friends and colleagues as much as you can. And don't forget to watch our detox as well, the disruptive literacy movement initiated by Dr. Gandhi in 2014. And we are on the detox on our page, so don't forget to watch them. And yes, we'll definitely connect soon with some other interesting session. So thank you, mom. Thank you, everyone.
Pleasure.
Okay, take care.
Bye bye.